ready to roll.
What's up, everybody? Name Code Dustin here with fantasy baseball right around the corner. Spring training's going on. We're super excited. In this video, we're going to be going over the outfield tiers and rankings. It's a long one, so let's just get right into it.
Tier 1, yes, we do have Ryan Braun above Mike Trout, but you really can't go wrong here. You know, you're going to get power, you're going to get speed, you're going to get average, and there is the fear of a sophomore slump for Trout, but obviously we don't have too much fear having him ranked in Tier 1, but just a little bit. That's why we have Braun over.
Alright, Tier 2, we're only supposed to talk about a couple guys per tier, but I couldn't do it. In Tier 2, we got Kemp and Cargo. They're going to do it across the board for you. We got Mike Stanton, that's right, we still call him Mike Stanton, could lead the league in home runs. And then we got McCutchen, just a banner breakout year last season. We love all these guys.
Love Tier 2. That's a nice looking tier. Tier 3, yes, Bryce Harper is in Tier 3. You know, you got to be real careful not to overdraft this guy just because of his name. We've heard of him going in the second round in some leagues. It's just a little too early for him for our liking. He had a fairly rough second half, just not what he did when he first came onto the scene. So just be careful with Bryce Harper. Obviously, huge upside. And then Adam Jones. We've been wanting this guy to do this for years. He hasn't quite done it. And then last year, finally put up some big numbers. Over 80 RBIs, over 100 runs, 30 home runs. Orioles probably won't be as good as they were last year, but still, nice upside with Adam Jones.
Tier 4, we start off with Jay Bruce. You know, this guy could really lead the league in home runs, so keep that in mind when you're drafting in the middle-ish rounds when he's going to be available. And then we got to talk about Cespedes. He had a great year last year, and this guy, again, he does it across the board. A 292 average, at 23 home runs, 16 bags. What's not to like?
Tier 5, I'm going to talk about a couple of guys with some speed. First one, Desmond Jennings. This guy has all the potential in the world. Huge upside with this guy. Didn't really do it last year with his average, only batted .250, but we still aren't writing him off just yet. He's a youngster. And then kind of an older guy in Ellsbury, but we'll see if he can still do it. You know, he's going to be coming off of that injury. We'll see how he does, but you know, for where you're going to be able to get him in the draft, he's still certainly worth a gamble.
All right, Tier 6, got to talk about two guys that everybody knows. The first one's Carl Crawford. Obviously, it's been a disappointment, but he's in LA. He still has that pedigree. Maybe he can return to the old glory. Not worth a late round gamble. And then I want to talk about Melky Cabrera. If he didn't get suspended for doing drugs and cheating, this guy would be way higher. So if he keeps slipping out of the draft and people are avoiding him, go ahead and grab him. And let's see how much it was the drugs and how much did he just turn it around.
I mean, he did bat .350.
That's ridiculous.
You know, so that was pretty nuts. So we'll see what happens with that. Tier 7, I want to talk about a couple of guys here. Josh Reddick for Oakland. You know, this guy, 32 home runs last year. That wasn't really expected out of this guy. We do like his upside. We aren't completely believing the 32 home runs. We're not sure if he's going to do that again, but he's still a guy that can give you some pop late. And then Brett Gardner. You know, this is a guy that's just, he's had all this hype around him for so long. Now he's battling injuries. You know he's going to give you the speed. He's not going to throw in much power. And for what you want out of a leadoff guy, he doesn't bat for the best average either, but he's still a guy that, you know, could lead the league in steals potentially if he can stay healthy. So, and the runs will be there too. So,
Tier 8, we're going to start off with Bourne. You know, he's getting way overdrafted. I know he's got the speed. He had 42 bags last year, but he doesn't do much else. He gives you a little bit of pop, but you're foreshadowing guy in Tier 10 might have just as many bags. And then next we're going to talk about Dahaza. Love him for the White Sox. He kind of does it across the board. We want him, you know, a little bit of speed, a little bit of power. Hopefully brings up the average a little bit.
Talk about Viciedo.
Go ahead.
Guy's a tank. I love that guy. I love watching that guy play. All right, let's move down to Tier 9. Curtis Granderson. News just released. He's going to miss probably at least the first month, a little bit more than the season. So, you know, depending on how your league is and how, you know, fast of a start you want to get off to, you might want to draft him, you know, if you can put him in your DL slot or whatnot. But this is about where we thought he should fall with that injury stuff. And then Adam Eaton. This guy,
I love him.
This guy's got a huge upside. Here's some stats for you. 528 at-bats last year in the minors, batted .375 and had 59 extra base hits. You know, you would think he'd be getting, you know, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper type love.
But he's not.
Not quite there. Not quite the same.
About him here.
But Adam Eaton, huge upside. Use a gamble on him. Late rounds.
I'm going to own him in all leagues.
Love him before.
Love him. Number 10, or the number 10, the 10th tier. This is a guy I was foreshadowing about more. We got Ben Revere for the Phils. He had 40 bags last year. Now, he will give you literally zero power. But if you're drafting Bourne because of the bags, you can wait to the end of your draft and grab this guy instead.
Ex-Twinkie. Poor guy. And then our last tier, I want to talk about a couple of Michaels. Michael Brantley, Michael Saunders. I love Brantley. You know, you look at his numbers, he only had 6 home runs last year. You're not really going to be loving that. But he had 47 extra base hits. I'm expecting some of those extra base hits to turn into home runs. He'll be double digits this year. And then Saunders, potential for a 2020 guy with this guy. Young guy, upside. And then I do want to talk about Nick Swisher, because this is a guy that does get drafted pretty high a lot of times. He's so blah, you know.
Fascinates him so much.
He's just, you know, I mean, yes, you know what you're going to get out of him. He's going to be solid, over 20 home runs, you know, decent home runs, or decent RBIs, decent runs. But
exactly,
the upside's just not there for me anymore. That's why we got him in the home.
That's it. We'll get Dust off soapbox. He'll complain about Swisher for the next 20 years. Get in the forums. We got our armies of experts. We'll answer any questions you have. Rate your mock drafts. Rate your teams. All that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter @Fantasy Advice. Subscribe to us on YouTube. All the good stuff. Can't wait. Fantasy baseball round the corner.